Here we are again, back on the Lord's Day to worship Him and to remember what He has done for us and to sing praises to Him, to pray to Him, to give back a portion of what He has given to us, and also to be able to hear His Word. And today we're going to be talking about the battle, what's going on right now. And I'm talking about Iran and the United States, and although that's involved in it, but I'm talking about the battle between good and evil, the battle between that is in between your ears. It is there where you think, and thinking which drives your actions. So we want to turn over to 2 Corinthians chapter 10. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 3 through 5, and let's take a look at what it says. For though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments and every pretense that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. What an insight into who we are, how we're to deal with this good and evil in ourselves, how we're to think. And so he tells us all. In fact, he tells you how to feel, how to think, what to get rid of that's in your mind. I mean, he's very careful. And he tells you in the scriptures that you are in charge of your mind. You're the one who decides what you think about. I like this picture probably from way back there, you know, when they used to have curls on their heads. But the reality is, everything you think about is up to you. How you hold yourself, what you think of yourself, how you see yourself, how you go about thinking about your performance at work, or your performance with other people, or how you speak to them, how you consider. All of these are in your mind, and you're in charge of that. No one can make you do anything. Your mind is there. You're in absolute charge. You're the only one who can decide what you dwell on and what you don't. And so, he says, what you think most about will become your actions. How you think and what you dwell upon will become your actions. Your words will tell others what you think. Your actions will tell them what you believe. You may say one thing and believe another. Have you ever heard somebody say, well, I hear what you're saying, but what you're doing is different than what you're saying? You know, like you say to your wife, I love you. You know, okay, wait a minute. Something's wrong here. Obviously, you don't love me. You're beating on me, or you're cheating on me, or you're treating me wrongly, or you're expecting me to do things that I can't do, and you could. So what you think about most, you're going to move towards. In fact, you want to try this out. Going down the road on the highway, about 70 miles an hour. And you look over to the side and you see something, you start thinking about it. And guess where your car is going to go? Or you see this truck beside you and you're thinking, man, that's a big old truck. I hope he doesn't move. I mean, man, and you're looking at that truck and your car starts to move to that truck. The same thing goes on in your mind. What you dwell upon drives your behavior. Your thinking drives your actions. And let me tell you something, words are just verbal actions. Simple as that. And then what you do. We can know what you think about us, or others, or the world, by what you do. Oh man, somehow I got two for one. So God gives you the power to hold on to the truth. He says it is not just power, it is divine power. I've given it to you, and here's how I'm giving it to you. I'm putting it down in words you can study again and again and again to be able to drive how you think. In this world of darkness, in this world of lies, in this world of people who don't care about God at all, no matter what they say, hold on to the truth. One of the things I like about the beginning of America was that they considered that what they were doing was right. In fact, the things that they had against the king were biblical in order. He wasn't acting like a king, and he had put them under other people. And so when they made the, when they made the seal of America, one of the things they put on there, if you look at the back of your dollar bill, if you look at the back of your dollar bill, it has the seal on it. And up at the top, you'll see it has 13 stars. Now, they're in the shape of the David Star, but that's only because Mr. Washington was keeping his word to a man who gave us $25 million to start a navy, and he was Jewish, and he says, I know this is a Christian nation, don't forget the Jews. And so he kept his word. But the stars you can see is in a clear sky, and above and around the clear sky of the stars is the clouds being rolled back, meaning the truth was rolling back the lies of the world. And you're not going to find anywhere in the world another country like this one that's based upon the words of God. And you're going to find it in those nations that when that thinking comes to America, it's going to disrupt America. It's going to cause problems and pain. And he's telling you, hold on to the truth. Who's responsible for holding on to the truth? Not God. He's already established the truth. He's already presented it. He's already given it to us in His written word. It's your job, because you're in charge of what you think about, and what you think about will become your actions, to hold on to the truth so that you will be acting upon it. And the battle is here. The battle is between what is right to do and what is wrong to do. How do I know? You turn to the Word of God and you study it and you see it. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Everybody has wisdom, but some have wisdom of the world. Some have wisdom of God. So as we talk about this, we understand we've got the divine power for unswerving truth. A truth that will last eternity. And that's powerful to think about. You don't have to wonder about your actions, whether your actions are right. You don't have to wonder about whether or not how you're thinking today is the right way in order to produce a good tomorrow for you. He has given you the truth so you can absolutely know what to do, how to act, how to function, how to be, how to trust, how to reject, how to rebuke, how to correct, how to instruct. All of that's there for you. Now here's the problem. We live in a world of lies. Let's go over to Isaiah and see what he says. And he says it so simply. Isaiah 5 verse 20. So simply. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. Who put darkness for light and light for darkness. Who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. We live in a world of lies while you're desperately trying to hold on to the truth. People are constantly telling you, you need to change this and change that about you. You need to follow this and follow that. Here's the newest thing. Here's the right way to do it. Listen, these scientists got together and they studied this, and here's what they've come up with, and they show this is the way. Let me tell you something. Unless God has told you the way, the rest of it is lies. Because what God said was the truth. Here's how you act. Here's what you do. And let me tell you something. Everybody is telling you what to do. They're telling you with their actions. They're telling you with their words. They're telling you with making fun of you, or ignoring you, or rejecting you, or accepting you. They're telling you exactly what they think. And the world is speaking the lies. The world will throw lies at you, aimed at your heart, aimed to kill you. What's your heart? The very thing that you live upon. It is the deepest part of who you are. Jesus says, out of the heart comes all forms of evil. Well, that means out of the heart would also come all forms of good if the heart was good. Because what the heart is full of, you can't help but bring out of you. He says, don't give evil for evil, but give good for evil. Why? Why, God? It's a lot easier to turn around and slap them back or scream at them when they're screaming at me, because that is not who you are. You're good. So you don't respond to evil with good. They teach good for evil, darkness for light, bitter for sweet. First we overlook evil, then we permit evil, then we legalize evil, then we promote evil, then we celebrate evil, then we persecute those who still call it evil. Well, what are you talking about? Hey, pick anything. How about the fact that people think that it is right to hire somebody because of their color or their I don't want to say race because there's no such thing as race, or their nationality, instead of hiring somebody who's going to be able to do the job? Or how about same-sex unions? No. Let's level that up. Same-sex marriages. In fact, not only do we permit it, we legalize it, and then we promote it as normal, as good. You know, they even have terms for people who are desirous of young children. And they say people who love children. As if that's supposed to make it okay. They're not sending them to jail. They're sending them to a therapist. And what's the therapist going to tell them? If the court agrees with that therapist, what's he going to tell them? Slow down. It's like somebody is trying to kill you. What are you going to say to them? Don't kill me? Or are you going to say, hey, don't kill me yet? Of course you're going to say, don't kill me at all. And then those people who stand up and talk the truth, they want to persecute them. You know, they're killing preachers in Canada who speak against the evil of this world. They kill off thousands and thousands and thousands of Christians in Africa, the continent. And did you know if you want to talk out against Islam today, they will persecute you? If you put a post on about it, on any media, they will come after you. Why? Because they first overlooked it, then permitted it, then legalized it, then promoted it, then celebrated it, and then persecuted you. Because you still hold on to the fact that it's evil, that it isn't right. They think they are wise. They think they're clever. Paul says it this way, they think they're wise amongst themselves, and they are fools. What's a fool? One that says there's no God. Meaning, they do not turn to God for wisdom. Meaning, they're going to say what they say because they're professing themselves to be wise. He says they even hire to themselves teachers because they long to hear what he's saying. And it is hard for a person of God to be able to get a job speaking the truth for God. In fact, if you're too harsh, then sometimes the leaders will come to you and say, hey, you got to tone it down a little bit. Case in point, Raccoon John Smith. Have you ever heard of him? I've talked about him a few times. He was called Raccoon because he loved to wear a raccoon coat that he'd made. You can think what you want. It was a coat. I'm getting arguments from the audience. This is my story. Like I told my mother one time when she did that time with, this is my story, and I'll tell it my way. But anyway, he was preaching, and they came to him and said, look, you're not supposed to preach like that. Let the Spirit lead you. He said, I read the words of the Spirit, and it was leading me. And they didn't like that and kicked him out. There are people out there who say, oh, that's not true. This is the way. This is the way. There is no God. Have you ever listened to this guy over here? Oh, my goodness. They're professing themselves to be wise, but they are fools. And they'll find out one day. Some of them already have. They profess themselves to be wise. There's no God, he says, and there's no evil, but God is evil. Huh? How do I get that through my head? There's no truth, no absolute truth. Really? Yes, absolutely. The world pushes this on us again and again and again because it is a world of lies. It is a world that pushes lies upon you. Why? Because they believe it, and therefore you must believe it too. Why is it that drunkards like to have other drunkards around them? Because they make them feel normal. Why is it that people who believe in lies want you to believe in lies? Because then they feel right and good according to what they believe. And if you show up and you don't drink, or you show up and you don't live a lie, what do? They got to push you away. The wicked suppress the truth. Otherwise, they'll have to come to terms with it and realize there is an authority over their actions. That authority is God. Now tonight, we're going to be talking about the church. Not Church, but the church. And I put a post on the front of the bulletin that says there are no denominations. There's just the church. Those who use man's creeds or have earthly headquarters or who do anything other than the way God told us to do it are not following the church. They're following a man. And usually they're named after a man. Even those who use the name of God and the name of Christ are not the church. Now, here's the question. Are you in bondage or are you a slave? You say, well, that's the same thing, is it? No. There are, remember, we use a Bible that's been translated. And in the New Testament, they translate it into a slave, but it means an indentured servant. And what that means is someone has paid your price, and now your debt, and now you must work for them. But in bondage means that you're locked in those decisions. And anybody who knows about, well, for example, drinking or smoking or cursing, they can't think of doing anything else. They've got to live that way. Just to feel normal, they've got to do that. It's amazing the amount of people out there, even little children, who curse, who use words that do not mean what they mean, and yet they're using words that are vulgar to begin with. Are you bound into bondage, or have you been fought and be free? Are you bound by the lies of this world? Let me tell you, Revelations tells us that the serpent spews water at the woman. The woman is the church. What's the water? The water's the people. So he spews the people. He doesn't come out himself necessarily. Well, he can come into your mind and plant a thought. I remember when I was a kid and I was walking down the hall at school and I saw a kid go out the door and he had lots of freckles and red hair, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just what he had. And the thought come to my mind, wonder if he's going to have a better body in the next life. Now, where did I think of that? That's obviously the second sin. But he uses the water to attack the woman or the people to attack the church. And how does he do this? With the lies of the world. The lies. And the world is spewing them at you all the time. They're in movies, they're on the news, they're your friends when you're having coffee, or doing your knitting group or whatever. They're there spewing this stuff at you all the time. You want to know why they are having trouble. They don't realize they're in charge of their mind, and they're following the lies of the world. And he tells us this in Revelation. Has your soul been bought back from Satan by Christ? Then you're a slave. You're an indentured servant to Christ. You've got to work until that debt is paid off. You can't pay that debt off, so what do? You work for God unto death. And at that time it's paid off. You've got a life insurance policy. It pays that off. You know, I got a life insurance policy for my wife. If I get killed, she gets $100,000. If I die by accident, she gets $500,000. I said, drag me in the street if I have a heart attack. You'll get 5 times the amount. It's a policy to be able to help others when you die. And that's exactly what Christ did. He died for you and for me only if you hear his calling and respond in the way in which he's commanded. Let me tell you something, there's a lot of people out there right now who are singing praises to God, who are doing things they think is appropriate before God because it's Sunday. There are people who did it last night because it's Saturday night and their priest said they can do it on Saturday night so they can go play soccer or football today. Let me tell you something. Have you been bought back from Satan? Or are you still bound by the lies of the world? And then lastly, are you, oh, and by the way, that blood we see on the doorpost of the mantle, that's in the blood that was shed for us by Christ. We actually receive that in baptism. We're redeemed by the blood. And so lastly, are you fully in control of your actions so they glorify God? What's within my control? My boundaries, my thoughts and actions, my goals. I give my energy to, how I speak to myself, how I handle myself. What's out of your control? Everything else, the past, the future, the actions of others, the opinions of others, or what happens to me, what other people think of me, the outcome of my efforts, how others take care of themselves, it's out of your control. All you're in control of is you. However, very few people are in control of themselves. 95% of what you do a day is a habit you produce way back when. And if you continue in that, you're only going to get a mediocre response. Be in control of yourself. You can only control 2 things in life: your attitude and your actions. You can't control how old you are. You can't control how long you live. You can't control whether or not the government does anything or doesn't do anything. You're not in control of that. God is. Take care of your life and let Him take care of everything else. Here's the question. Are you fully in control of yourself and your actions in word and deed? Do they glorify God? If so, you're a slave to the greatest master ever. who has told you how to act, and you may get killed for doing it. But fear not, I will overcome the world. I've been resurrected, and you will too. Your spirit's forever. Do all you do to glorify God. Here's the battle in your mind and against the world of lies. And don't be bound by it anymore. Come out of the world. Be apart from them. Act apart. Do apart. Do what is right for God. That's the battle that we're having today. Good and evil go on in your mind. You see $100 on the ground, you go over and step on it so it won't blow away. And the first thought in your mind is, ooh, what can I do with this? And the second thought in your mind is, it's not mine. Who lost it? You've got to choose good or evil. You've got to be in control of yourself. You've got to be the one who decides, I'm going to heaven by every single thing I do. Are you ready to meet Him? He is coming back. Even if it doesn't happen in your lifetime, there will be a judgment day. And you'll either be with Him or without Him forevermore. Whatever your answer is. If you need help with this, to be baptized, or to be prayed for, or to maybe have studies, or whatever it may be, you can come forward as we stand and we sing this song together.